Shin was fighting with the Goblin Lord. Eventually, he killed the Goblin Lord. The boss fell in front of him. All his clothes were soaked in blood, and his face was also covered in blood. As soon as the boss hit the ground, he had cleared the goblin dungeon. He took a deep breath and calmed his mind, but he was so exhausted that he collapsed onto the ground as he didn't have the strength to stand. He also received a new title, Don't Touch Me. This title included luck stat and evasion stat. He was stressed but relieved because he was still young. A lot of things had happened today as he had pushed his body too far. The goddess appeared in front of him and told him that he was fortunate to be alive today, but he thought that most people believed he was merely skilled. She told him that luck was also a skill, and she was happy to support such a lucky player. Shin ignored her words and began distributing his free points, putting all his points into the luck stat. She was annoyed, but Shin did not look at her because he was happy. His luck stat had reached 100. Once a stat exceeds 100, any related effects receive an additional 10% bonus. They both looked at the boss's drop artifacts, since his luck stat had an additional effect, which increased the drop rate of artifacts. He got a shield, which was a silver rank artifact. It increased his defense stat and had the sacrifice skill. Even though he does not care about the drop rate, because he has already received a guaranteed drop thanks to the goddess's blessing. He thanks the goddess for her blessings. Shin placed his hand on the top of his shield. He thought that with the extra effect he could raise the rank level of the artifacts. He began synchronization with the shield. The goddess embraced him because she liked Shin. Shin thought that the goddess seemed more at ease than his previous contractor. Shin reached the quest area. A woman was troubled because she said no to him. They were both talking about the same idea, but the woman did not like his idea. She asked him to reconsider. He was surprised and nervous by her reaction. He thought he had found the solution to this problem. Before he reached his quest area, we come back. He was driving his car. He was worried about his shield because it was from a goblin, but absorbing the shield was a simple task. The car had reached its limits and was not in good condition. He looked at the control panel. There was no fuel and the car's battery was dead, and the car's temperature had increased. The car was not in good condition. He was surprised by the condition of his car. He thought that he might have to buy a new car, but before buying a car, he would have to buy a new house. Because there are probably more people who want to kill him, he cannot level up consistently in fear. He also have to buy new artifacts to increase his status and gain new skills. He was silent because he knew there was only one solution to all problems, and that is money. He needed a large sum of money to solve his problems, and right now there was only one place where he could make that much money. There is a system designed for players. With its arrival came quests, and the organization managing those quests was called the Players Association. He decided to visit the Players Association to earn money for all his current problems. He had to do this. Returning to the present, Shin didn't know what to do now. The woman had told him to enter the dungeon suitable for him, as he couldn't raid the high-level dungeon yet. Shin was trying to explain to her to let him enter it, but he had only reached level 17, but going into the low-level dungeon area now would waste his time. She was trembling and crying because she didn't want the low-level player to die. She had told him to raid the low-level dungeon, but Shin was adamant that he wouldn't listen to anyone. The woman came from behind and asked what happened. Shin looked back as the staff told her that nothing happened. She was an A-rank player. Her name was Kim Mi-so. The marksman of destruction. Shin remembered that she was the first player to reach level 100 and earn the title of marksman. She was strong, but what set her apart was that she was the daughter of Kim Yun-chul, the president of Shinsung Biotechnics. They have formed a guild named Adian. There are many strong players there, such as Shin Terry, who is a shadow assassin. She is known for her title and as the greatest assassin player. Another player is the nation's greatest swordsman, Cho Jinho. Both are members of the same guild. She was born with the biggest diamond spoon in players' history. She asks him that she has never seen him before. He tells her why he wanted to raid a high-level dungeon. Shin tells her that he needs money right now. Some people are watching from the sidelines because Kim Mijo had not initiated the conversation earlier. They thought Shin had an attitude. They thought she was upset about the level 17 player. Shin can hear their conversation. She tells him that the high-level dungeon has many challenges. Shin knows them very well because he has been reborn. Shin only tells her that high risk comes with high rewards. Shin thinks he has no hatred or anything. He had met her in his previous life since he wanted to join her team, but he was rejected by her. He felt that it's not that he's carrying any grudge or anything. He was reminded that he can't enter high-level dungeons because solo players are not allowed to enter alone. He remembers that solo players can only enter dungeons alone after 4 years, when the restriction will be lifted. As he decided to leave from there, he told them it was his fault that he didn't know this. She smiled and told him to stop. Shin turned around and she offered him to join her team. Shin was surprised to hear this. People were astonished and jealous upon hearing her offer. He didn't understand what she wanted from him. He asked what she wanted. She told him she wanted to help fellow players. Shin told her he doesn't trust people's words, as there are some conditions attached. As they were both talking to each other, the staff couldn't understand their conversation. She told him that he just has to promise her. If he disappointed her, he would have to pay for it. But if he was really strong, she would apologize to him. Shin looked at her and realized she just wanted to test him because Kim Miso's influence is not limited to being a player. Even the clothes she wears become a brand, however. When she sees a confident player, she tests their confidence. Shin was smiling and told her, "Why don't they leave straight away?" He felt that things were getting more interesting. Today's episode is ended. See you all in next episode. Thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel.